Man, full burst step up order? It is gone now, it is gone. Hello guys, MikuChibi here and welcome back to another Sword Online in the factory video, and today we're gonna have a look at the newest banner. Now, the full burst step up, it is gone now, but we have a new banner that got replaced it, which is... yeah, the regular burst, the burst step up order. The regular burst, no full burst, just a regular burst. Now, short about the banner itself, it is a step up banner with 3 steps, where step 1 you have 3% off, step 2 regular price, and step 3 a guaranteed 4-star burst skill. Yes, so in this banner it is only featuring burst skill, and there's no awakening skill, no X skill, no mod skill, just burst skill. No full burst as well, there's no full burst, just burst, regular burst skills, yes. Now, when you scroll down, you can see that they are featuring a really cool burst skill, but they doesn't show the old skills. So that is really sneaky by Bandai. Now, in this banner, there is about 58 burst skill that you can get in this banner, right? Some of them are good, some of them bad. And that's why I made a list. We can see here we have S tier, A tier, T tier, B tier, retirement, rare, and free. Yes. Now, above the burst banner, you can see that Agile here, slashing giant blade Agile, this is the latest skill that got released, and that was in March. So we can assume that burst skill that got released between 2018 to 2024 March is available here. Any burst that got released after March, so April, May, June, they are not included. So if you were looking for something better, so if you were looking for Trace of Foreign Juju or the Swing of the Mighty Blade Lifa, I think they are both the skills, they are not in that banner. So if you were saving for these two, they're not. So you have to wait for the next time when the burst skill is gonna release again. So what skill can you get in this banner? Well, you see, I already showed you, this is the tier we have. Let me talk about the tier. So S tier is basically really strong skill core that you can use, and they are really useful, and they're also in use in high-end content. A tier, they are still strong, but kind of weaker compared to newer ones that are much stronger. T, that is a new tier, which is stand for tank. So yeah, these two skills here is really popular in tanking roles, so they have their own tier. B tier, kind of weak, still can use in some different content, or still can use in different scenario. Then we have retirement, which is basically burst skill that you rarely see in higher end content in the metas. Sometimes you see them, sometimes, but most of the time you do not see them. So Yota, if you're watching this video, yes, your Shiners, Koharu, and top speeders, Lifa, they are in retirement. Deal with it. They are in retirement. Then we have rare and free. So let's start the free one. The free one is of course the Black Pioneer Kirito. Everyone gets it when they started the game, when they started Sword Online in the factor. It's free and pretty much useless, pretty weak. But still can use in high-end content where you apply burn or being a tanker, when you can use sword to dodge, it is fine. Rare ones, these two skills here were only available to buy in the shop for $4 to $5, I think. And if you don't have them, you can't really buy them. They are not in the shop anymore. I don't know why they remove it. Maybe it was weak or something like that. So they are rare. You can obtain them at the moment. They are not in the burst banner, right? So let's start with the S tier. S tier, we do have Sword. Let's start with that. Sword, Sweet Castle Lifa, and Strike of Victory Kirito. Now, why are they on S tier? Well, you know how strong Mod Sword is, right? Mod Sword, third unlock slots, and then you put inside the best fodder inside the Mod Sword, which is the defense scaling bonus. These two here, when you activate the burst, they have that bonus in the burst. That's why they are really strong, and that means you can clear content with it, right? You can clear any content with Mod Sword. That means you can also clear any content with the burst skills. So this burst skills is really strong, especially when you're farming Rosso, right? Rosso, the weapon series, Gleam, you can use Sweet Castle Lifa, really strong against it. Or if you're farming KO Showdown, which is the Dalos, that is weak to Slash and Holy, you can also use this one. They are really strong, and they have a bonus that is same as a mod fodder. So basically they have a mod fodder inbuilt in the skill without being a mod skill, right? So that is really good. Both of them are really good. This one gonna be most used in Slash Holy content, and this one gonna be used most in Slash Win content, right? So this one gonna be really useful in the current upcoming GOG, which is where the boss is weak to slash and win. So really good. Rapier, we have two rapier here, two rapier bursts, Koharu and Asuna. Koharu is kind of similar to what the current full burst has, almost the same bonus, but being just a regular burst. So she can compete with the full burst. That's why it is really strong here. For Asuna, she is kind of similar to Koharu, right? But a little bit weaker. Just a small weaker than a regular full burst and Koharu, but still really strong, really good. Koharu will be really good in any Frost Holy content, especially for floor 17 if you're farming the Extreme Warburn for Masha weapon series, right? Really good. For Frostfire content, you can use Asuna, for example, Chaos Showdown when you're fighting the Gleam boss that is level 215. Really good there. Next up, we have the Elizabeth. Really strong burst where you're utilizing on the Mark debuff. When you're activating the burst, really strong, will deal a lot of damage. It is a really good as being a regular burst skill. AGL, really strong. We have his birthday skill that is just a regular burst, but still one of the strongest burst axe skill in the game. With his other skill, both of them are really strong, really good. So they can be really useful in any blunt content. Then we have Spear. Spear, actually first time I see Spear having a really good burst, right? They are really strong, really good, as long as you can build around them. If you can build around them, they are really good, really strong. And that's why they are in S tier. Dagger, we have Dagger, of course. Argo, she has one of the best burst skill at the moment when it comes to Dagger. Really good, really strong, and that's why they are here, because they are the new generation of burst. They are really good, really strong. And lastly, we have Xenon that was released last year, which were really popular and really good. You don't even need mod skill in your set to be able to play around this, because this one already scales with your HP. The lower HP you have, the more damage you deal. So you don't really need to have a Reckless Courage to deal damage. But if you do have Reckless Courage skill and you combine it with this Xenon Burst skill, you will now deal even more damage. Now for A tier, we do have Asuna here, imported in Asuna. This one was really popular during Chaos Showdown when you fought the Chaos Warden. Really popular skill. Now why is it on A tier? Well, kind of weak if we compare to these two burst skill here. They are much stronger, they have better bonus, right? Asuna here is like, it is alright. Used most of the time for break-in. It has high break gauge, right? It is useful, it is strong. But compared to the newer burst skill, they are much better. That's why I put it down on A tier for now. It's still really good, still being useful. I can't really put it on S tier or B tier because it's not that really weak. It's still really strong, and it's not the strongest compared to the two other. So A tier works pretty fine. Next we have Yuna, really strong wind burst skill for spear set, really strong, but we don't have that many wind content at the moment. It's frost and wind, right? It's still really strong where it scales. The more HP you have, the more damage it will deal. So it's basically same as a axe mod follower, right? But on spear, so it is really good. That's why it's on A tier. There's no way it's on B tier because it's still really strong compared to other spear, right? Yui, it is a good dagger skill, but I won't say it's kind of popular compared to how the newer burst skill on dagger, they are much stronger, they have better bonus, right? Meanwhile, Yui is focused more into having element, right? But it is still really fine. Next up, we have the T tier, which is the tank skill. We have the Angel, Asuna, and Best Memory Silica. Now these two is actually really old skill. They are from 2018, so why are they really popular right now? Well, for Asuna, if you are running tank set with Rapier, this Asuna is really good because it has high break gauge value, really high, which is really good. As long as the boss have a frost break, if the boss has a frost break, then Asuna is really good. For example, the floor 85 Huang, which is where you found the Yasha weapon series, and your Asuna still really good, still really useful, and it can heal you a lot. Like, you can actually heal you a lot, really good. And it also kind of cheap to use it. It only costs 20 SP to use it, so that is a plus, really good. Now, why is this skill here, even though it's kind of weak? Well, it is because it can heal you, same as with Asuna. Asuna can heal you, Silica can also heal you, as long as you have element on yourself. And right now on later endgame content, some of the bosses does apply like 2 or even more elements on you. So having this Silka here, she can cleanse every single element. She can remove all element on yourself, and for every stack you have on yourself element, she will heal that. So she will heal around 2% of your max HP for every single stack. So if you have, for example, 15 stacks on yourself, you will heal 30% of your max HP. That is really good. She is really good for tanking, and dagger is now really popular as tanking where you also apply elements. So that's why you definitely really need best memory in your set. Really good. For B tier, let me just go through them. Vermilion Bird Asna, really good, gives you evasion, 100% evasion, and also reduce your skill cooldown by 3 seconds. But if you already have a Connect Rapier, then you can just replace it easily. But still, I use this sometimes when I don't really use Connect skill, when it's kind of annoying to use Connect. And then we have Angel Elizabeth. It is not being used that much, but it has a high break value. So any blunt fire content, this one can be really good, and also buff your party member. That is really nice. We have Dagger Koharu. It is alright, not the best one. It still can be used as a fodder, or you can use it for any starch win content, but it is much weaker compared to how other burst dagger we have right now. So it's kind of weak. Captain Yuki. This one is actually really good, still really useful for any GOG, and the reason why it's still really good is because it can apply the element stacking really fast and really good. So it is still really useful for like GOG or any endgame content where you have to apply the element on the boss as soon as possible and try to max it out. So Yuki is still really good, but she is on B tier because she is only used to that. She can't really do that much damage compared to how the newer burst dagger is right now, but it's still being useful. The Black Atari Sachi, still really good for frost content where you increase the break gauge on the boss. So it's still really useful, still really popular, and it has really high break gauge. So that's why it's still being used most of the time. Same go for Kabuki Princess Lifa. She is only good for breaking, and since she has a really high break gauge on the burst skill, she is really good, still being relevant. That is this skill's role for the moment. Lifa here, the Dark Burst Lifa, I would say it's alright. It's still being used in somewhat content, but I won't rely on it too much since it's kind of weak compared to how newer burst skill on Spear is. But it still can be really good. You can still utilize the 1.5 extra damage, right? You can use it to increase the break gauge, that is fine. But still B tier, I just put it there because you have better option for Spear when it comes to dark element, right? Spring Maiden Xenon. Oh my god, I still hate the skill. Like, it's so weak and so boring, but still it's still good for any Frost Earth content. It's still good for Suicide set. Bow doesn't have that many options when it comes to burst skill. This is the only option you have when it comes to burst Frost Earth. You still have to use it, so it's still B tier for now. But once we have something better, that it's much better, I will put it in retirement for sure. That is 100% for sure. Lastly, we have the Storm of the Great Sea, I think it's called. Storm of the Great Sea Xenon. Now, it was really popular back in the days when Suicide Bow set was really popular. But now it is falling off pretty much a lot. But still, you can still use it to clearing the waves, to clearing the mobs. You don't really utilize the crit damage too much, right? The crit damage is so useless right now, so it has fallen down a lot. But you still can use it somewhat. For speedrunning, there are some people that are doing speedrunning where they use this Xenon for just buffing, for crit damage buff, right? That's all. So you see some people use it in the connect skill, having this one in the connect skill, and then get the buff, one-shotting the Yuki, which is right now people are trying to do a speedrun with it. So yeah, it's still relevant when it comes to speedrun in any Frost content. Any Frost content where you can crit, that's all. So Yuki, where you're doing the serious battle Yuki, you can crit on her, so it's still relevant from there, that's all. Red Highman, won't discuss too much, basically useless or not being used that much because we have better option, better skills that works pretty well, have better synergy. The old ones is irrelevant. I mean, you can still use them, nothing wrong with that, but so weak, really old, and not really relevant for now. So Is burst step up order worth the summon on? If you're missing a lot of regular bursts and really want to collect all the bursts as well, sure, go ahead, it's definitely worth it. But if you are focused more into competitive content, right now it's kind of risky. I mean, it's kind of bad because the chance of getting the newer burst skill is pretty low, right? Like I will say somewhere here, that is kind of small, right? These are really good ones, and the rest is like alright, really bad, yeah. So this one is like not really worth it. So not really worth it to waste an Arcana Gem on that. Most of those skills here are in the free pools. So if you're looking for the older skills, like for example you were looking for skill capture Koharu, this one is in the general pool, in the free pool, so you have a chance to get that. So you're paying 0 Arcana Gems instead of paying 6,250 Arcana Gems to get this skill, right? So all the skill is in the free polls. Like for tanking, you can get this in the free polls. You can get Yuna in the free polls. I believe you can also get Important Day in free polls. I'm not sure, but we can check that out in the future. And yeah, so and the rest you can get these except for the rare ones, the free ones, right? So I would say just skip this one. Definitely not worth the summon right now. I don't see anywhere where you want to pull on the burst step up order where the full burst is much better. For newer meta, they are in the new metas, they are more relevant than just a regular burst, right? Skip this banner, save your Arcana Gems, and that's all. So that's for me. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully this video was helpful, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care now, and bye bye.